Fashion has always been a reflection of cultural values, aspirations, and economic realities. Yet beneath the glamour of runway shows and glossy ads lies an industry with complex ethical issues, ranging from exploitative labor practices to environmental devastation. In response to decades of unchecked fast fashion, ethical fashion has emerged as a growing movement that prioritizes fairness, transparency, and sustainability. As more consumers become aware of what goes into the clothes they wear, the push for ethical fashion has evolved from a niche concern to a powerful global conversation. At its core, ethical fashion refers to the design, production, and distribution of clothing that prioritizes people and the planet. It considers how garments are made, by whom, under what conditions, and with what materials. Unlike fast fashion, which relies on mass production, low wages, and disposable trends, ethical fashion aims to create long-lasting garments with minimal harm to workers, animals, and ecosystems. One of the most pressing ethical concerns in fashion is labor rights. Many fast fashion brands outsource production to countries where wages are low, regulations are weak, and workers have little protection. Garment workers, particularly women and children, often endure dangerous conditions, long hours, and inadequate pay. Tragedies like the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh in 2013, which killed over 1,100 garment workers, brought global attention to these injustices and sparked widespread calls for reform. Ethical fashion addresses these labor abuses by ensuring fair wages, safe working conditions, and respectful treatment across the supply chain. This can mean working with certified factories, forming partnerships with local artisans, or adopting direct-to-consumer models that cut out exploitative middlemen. Certifications like Fair Trade, GOTS, Global Organic Textile Standard, and B Corp can help identify brands committed to these values. Beyond labor, ethical fashion also considers environmental sustainability. The fashion industry is one of the world's largest polluters, responsible for massive water consumption, chemical runoff, textile waste, and carbon emissions. From cotton farming to synthetic dyeing, each stage of garment production can have a significant environmental footprint. Ethical fashion brands respond by choosing eco-friendly materials, such as organic cotton, tencel, hemp, or recycled fabrics, and adopting practices like low-impact dyeing, waterless washing, and closed-loop production systems. Reducing waste is another pillar of ethical fashion. The rise of fast fashion has conditioned consumers to view clothes as disposable, contributing to overflowing landfills and microplastic pollution. Ethical fashion encourages a shift toward mindful consumption, buying less, choosing quality, repairing garments, and embracing timeless style over fleeting trends. Movements like slow fashion, capsule wardrobes, and secondhand shopping support this change in mindset. Animal welfare is also part of the ethical equation. The use of fur, exotic skins, and animal-derived materials like leather and wool can raise serious ethical concerns. While some ethical brands choose to avoid animal products altogether, others opt for traceable, cruelty-free, or regenerative sources. Innovations in biofabrication, such as mushroom leather or lab-grown silk, are opening new doors for cruelty-free fashion that is also environmentally sustainable. Transparency is vital to ethical fashion. Consumers cannot make informed choices without knowing where and how their clothes are made. Ethical brands prioritize transparency by publishing factory locations, sourcing information, production timelines, and impact reports. They engage with their communities, answer questions honestly, and invite accountability. In contrast, greenwashing, when companies falsely market themselves as sustainable, undermines consumer trust and stalls meaningful progress. Technology has played a major role in advancing ethical fashion. Blockchain and QR codes are being used to track garments from raw materials to retail, ensuring traceability and preventing fraud. AI and data analytics help brands optimize inventory, reduce overproduction, and forecast trends more responsibly. Digital fashion and virtual try-ons offer alternatives to physical sampling and reduce waste. The rise of social media has amplified consumer voices, allowing users to hold brands accountable and elevate ethical alternatives. Influencers and activists have used platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to promote thrift hauls, expose labor violations, and celebrate sustainable style. The ethical fashion movement is increasingly intersectional, recognizing the connections between labor rights, environmental justice, gender equity, and indigenous sovereignty. Despite its growth, ethical fashion faces challenges. Ethical production is often more expensive, making it harder for small brands to compete with fast fashion giants. Consumers may be priced out of sustainable options or confused by the many certifications and standards. There's also the risk of elitism, where ethical fashion becomes more about virtue signaling than systemic change. To truly transform the fashion industry, ethical fashion must be inclusive, accessible, and scalable. Governments and policymakers have a role to play in regulating labor standards, incentivizing sustainable practices, and supporting local textile industries. Consumers can use their purchasing power to demand better practices, but systemic change requires a collective effort across all sectors: brands, retailers, media, and institutions alike. Education is key. Schools, media outlets, and fashion programs should incorporate ethics and sustainability into their curriculums. Shifting fashion culture means challenging the norms of overconsumption and redefining what it means to be stylish. Style should not come at the expense of exploitation or environmental degradation. Ethical fashion offers a vision of a better future, where beauty and justice coexist, where clothes tell stories of empowerment, and where the fashion industry uplifts rather than exploits. It is not about perfection, but progress. Every conscious purchase, thoughtful decision, and supportive conversation brings the world closer to a fashion industry that is fair, transparent, and regenerative. As awareness continues to grow, the ethical fashion movement is not a fleeting trend, but a revolution in values. It asks us not only to look good, but to feel good about how our clothes are made, who makes them, and the legacy they leave behind. In a world facing climate crisis, economic inequality, and cultural homogenization, ethical fashion is both a personal choice and a political act, a way to wear our values on our sleeves and walk toward a more compassionate future.